Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack ideas, look a bit closer, and hopefully find those insights that really shift your understanding.
Yeah, and today we're diving into two really fundamental experiences, things you often see in, say, discipleship training schools or similar intensive programs.
Exactly. We're talking about small groups and one-on-one sessions.
Right, and these aren't just, meetings on a schedule. They're very intentionally designed environments. They're crucial for deep personal growth, for really wrestling with and processing the big ideas you encounter.
Our goal here is to help you, the listener, figure out how to really get the most out of these opportunities. Think of it as maybe a shortcut, not just to know more, but to be genuinely changed by the experience.
Right, unlocking insights, building connections. That's the aim.
So let's start with small groups. Lectures kind of plant this seed, right? But how does that seed actually grow into real personal change? That seems to be where small groups come in.
That's exactly it. They're vital. The sources we looked at really stress this. They're essential for taking that lecture material and letting it, well, sink in properly.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Everyone hears the same lecture.
But they hear different things, or maybe it lands differently based on their own life, their own background. Small groups are where you share those varied perspectives.
So it's not just about agreeing.
No, not at all. It's actually about encountering what you might call cognitive friction. When your understanding bumps up against someone else's.
Okay. That friction forces you to rethink.
Precisely. You reevaluate, maybe see nuances you missed. It helps solidify a much richer understanding for everyone. It's like moving from individual notes to a kind of collective wisdom. You really extract the essence together.
And hearing those different takes, that must really boost your own reflection, like in journaling.
Oh, absolutely. Suddenly you have so much more to chew on. Someone shares how a point landed for them, and it sparks a whole new train of thought for you. Your journaling becomes way more abundant, more impactful. It's a powerful loop.
So for this to work, everyone needs to be involved.
Full participation, that's key. And also managing time. Respecting the start and end times is basic, but crucial. It shows respect for everyone's commitment.
What about the group dynamic itself? You always get quieter people and maybe some who talk a lot. How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's a real dynamic. The guidance seems to be about practicing a kind of outward-focused care, like consciously valuing what others might share over just getting your own point across.
So practically, how does that look?
It means maybe asking gentle, open questions to draw out someone who's quiet, or pausing before you jump in, making sure there's space. It's about putting the group's collective insight first, making sure everyone feels genuinely heard.
It sounds like it goes beyond just ideas then. That's about support too.
Definitely. It's a place to share struggles, pains, problems, and to pray for each other. The idea is very much like a family. You're not meant to walk this path alone. God calls people together.
As a family, yeah.
Exactly. And critically, it's about application, putting learning into practice.
Right. So if the lecture was about, say, hearing God's voice.
Then the group talks about, okay, how did you try to do that this week? What happened? Or if it's about maybe the Father's heart or compassion, how did that actually impact you? Your interactions, maybe your family.
I remember seeing a principle mentioned. Act first, teach later.
Yes, that's central. It's all about practical implementation. Living it out. It's geared towards transformation, not just, collecting information.
Okay, this sounds powerful, but it also needs some clear ground rules. You mentioned conduct and boundaries.
Absolutely crucial. Top of the list. Confidentiality. What's shared in the group stays in the group, period.
That makes sense. It's built on trust. What happens if someone breaks that?
It's really damaging. If people start gossiping outside the group, even subtly sharing things, that trust just shatters. People clam up. They won't share openly again.
So there's a difference between sharing your own experience outside and sharing someone else's.
Huge difference. Sharing your story, your takeaways. Fine, often encouraged. Sharing someone else's vulnerability, that's a breach. It hurts the person and the whole group.
And besides confidentiality, what else is important? Active listening.
Yes, and showing genuine interest. Not just being quiet while someone talks, but really engaging.
How do you show that?
Small things, like saying, I see, or asking what happened next, or how did that feel? It makes the speaker feel valued, truly heard.
Got him. And keeping focus.
Right. These aren't just casual hangouts, they're part of the learning journey. So discussions need to stay focused on the themes from the lectures or the program. If things drift into, say, random gossip or just news chatter, members need to be wise enough to gently steer it back. Keep the purpose in mind.
So for you, the listener, stepping into this, what's the takeaway?
That you are the main character in your small group experience. Facilitator's guide, sure, but how effective it is. That really depends on your preparation, your willingness to engage.
So come prepared.
Absolutely. Bring questions, bring curiosity, bring a real desire to connect and discuss. That's what turns a potentially dull session into something lively and transformative. You really shape the group's culture.
And it's also a place to grow leadership skills.
Definitely. The facilitators might lead initially, but the goal is often for participants to step up, maybe take turns leading discussions. It prepares you for future roles, in communities, life beyond the program.
And the facilitators themselves, they're not meant to dominate.
Not at all. Their main job is listening, empathizing, encouraging, affirming. They want you to share authentically from the heart using what's sometimes called the language of life. Your real feelings, your real experiences.
There was a powerful story illustrating this about a man named Simhan Gu.
Yes, a really moving example. This man, Simhan Gu, apparently hadn't engaged with scripture in his 70 years of life. But through the constant love, care, encouragement, and affirmation he received in his small group from students, from facilitators, he had this profound spiritual awakening, saw the Bible with new eyes.
Wow.
It just shows how that community aspect, that supportive environment, can lead to real healing and new life. That's why these groups exist. That's the core purpose.
Okay, let's hit some practical questions people might have. Where do these groups actually meet?
Locations are usually quite flexible, typically on the campus. Quiet spaces, cafeterias, classrooms, sometimes even someone's home.
A residence home.
Yeah, but they stress the need for spousal permission if that's the case, just to make sure everyone's comfortable. Facilitators usually sort out a regular spot beforehand, or the group decides together.
And how long do they typically run?
Usually about an hour, maybe a bit longer if the group is larger, say 4 to 7 people is typical, or if the discussion gets really deep. But after the small group, the formal schedule for the day is usually done.
How are the groups actually put together?
Good question. They are gender separated. So, male facilitators lead male groups, female facilitators lead female groups.
Why is that?
The reasoning is that it creates a more comfortable space for open and honest sharing, especially around personal or sensitive topics, and particularly for married individuals. It allows for a certain kind of vulnerability.
Makes sense. And what exactly should people be talking about?
The focus is laser sharp. It's about your personal journey, how God is working in your life, how the lectures are impacting you. It's explicitly not the place to discuss your spouse or your roommate unless you have their direct, explicit permission beforehand.
So, not a gossip session about others.
Definitely not. Facilitators usually provide maybe 2 or 3 guiding questions tied to the week's lectures to get the conversation started, focused on that personal application.
Okay, that gives a really clear picture of small groups.
Mhm.
Now, let's shift gears to the other key environment, one-on-one sessions. This sounds even more personal.
It is. If small groups offer breadth through shared perspectives, one-on-ones are designed for depth, for that really intimate, private processing.
So a dedicated time with just one facilitator.
Exactly. It's structured for that deeper dive into your inner life, your private story, your personal walk with God, in a way that's just not possible or maybe appropriate in a group.
Now, one potential pitfall mentioned was for people maybe with pastoral or theological training who might try to analyze everything through that lens.
Yes, that's a common challenge. The emphasis here is really crucial. The primary goal is fostering your personal relationship with God. It's not about theological debate or proving points.
So less academic, more relational.
Precisely. The environment is described as not a seminary, not a ministry field in that specific sense. You're encouraged to kind of set aside those former roles or titles and just approach God and the session with a humble, open, almost childlike heart. It's about connection, not credentials.
And it's your time to talk, right? The facilitator is mainly listening.
Absolutely. They are there to listen. And importantly, there's zero obligation to share anything you're not ready to share. No pressure.
But if you are ready,
then you're encouraged to be open. Talk about why you feel called, how things are going with your family, how the lectures are hitting you personally. The more you open up when you feel safe, the more you can gain.
let's talk confidentiality again. It's key here too, obviously. But there are some very specific, serious exceptions.
Yes, and these are non-negotiables, really important for everyone to understand for safety reasons. Facilitators maintain confidentiality unless one of 2 situations arises.
Okay, what's the first one?
If what you share indicates a direct, credible threat to someone's life, yours or someone else's, the facilitator must report that to the school leadership. Safety comes first.
And the second exception.
If serious illegal activities are disclosed, the example given was current drug use on campus. Things like that cannot be kept confidential due to legal responsibilities and, again, the safety of the community.
And this applies mainly to current or imminent danger, right? Not necessarily something from the distant past.
Generally, yes. The focus is on immediate safety and legal obligations within the current context of the program and campus community.
Okay, that's clear. Now, about the facilitator's role,
Yeah.
there are some misconceptions. They're not there to grade you or report back details.
Right. It's important to bust those myths. They aren't interrogators, they aren't scoring you, they aren't intimidating authority figures passing judgment or reporting private details up the chain. That's not the role.
So what is the role then? How do they support you without, taking over?
Think of them as walking alongside you, a supportive presence. They might act as a kind of boundary, maybe helping you stay grounded if you're exploring difficult things, providing that safe space. But they won't lead you by the hand.
And crucially, they won't give you direct answers or advice for your life, like what job should I take?
Exactly. They will not provide direct solutions or specific advice on your big life decisions. Their role is to help you learn to listen to God's voice for yourself, to help you discern your own answers.
What if a facilitator does start giving direct advice?
Then they're kind of stepping outside the intended model for these sessions. Now, they can share their own experiences, maybe how God worked in their life in a similar situation.
Sharing their story as encouragement.
Yes, but briefly. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just to offer perspective or encouragement, not to dominate the session or tell you what you should do based on their experience.
Okay. And asking questions is actively encouraged.
Highly encouraged. It's described as a time for questions. This is important because culturally, some people find it hard to question figures they see as leaders.
Right. In some cultures, that's seen as disrespectful.
Exactly. But here, it's welcomed. Don't worry about asking naive or silly questions. All questions are valid if they're part of your genuine seeking.
But how do facilitators answer if they're not giving direct advice?
Good point. They won't give you a direct answer to your specific personal problem. Instead, they'll respond by sharing their own relevant experiences, how they navigated seeking guidance, how God met them in a similar struggle. It gives you principles, insights, maybe sparks ideas for you to find your own way forward.
So it empowers you to find the answer rather than just receiving one.
That's the core idea.
Okay, practically speaking, treat facilitators like friends, respectfully but comfortably.
Yeah, that's the vibe. Respectful, but relaxed and friendly.
And logistics, where and how long?
Location is totally flexible. Any private, comfortable spot works. Quiet corner, outside bench, empty room. Duration, aim for about an hour.
Be mindful of their time.
Definitely. Facilitators often have many students, plus their own significant responsibilities, maybe families, jobs. The example given was someone raising 3 kids while their spouse was away. So yeah, be respectful of that hour, help wrap things up, unless you both clearly agree more time is needed right then.
One last important point. Facilitators aren't professional therapists. What if someone needs more specialized help?
Right. They are mentors, guides, listeners, but not trained clinical counselors. If someone realizes they need that deeper professional level of support,
Is there a way to get that?
yes, there's a specific program mentioned, the 9941 program, designed for exactly that, providing access to professional counseling when needed.
And how does someone access that?
You talk to your one-on-one facilitator first, let them know what you feel you need. They can then connect you with the school leadership who facilitates the referral into that specialized support system. It's a clear pathway.
Okay. So wrapping this all up, it's clear these small groups and one-on-one sessions aren't just filler. They're really carefully thought out environments.
Meticulously designed, yeah.
Wow.
Not just for information download, but for real relational and spiritual growth. Deeply personal stuff.
They're pathways, really.
Exactly. Intentional pathways for healing, for understanding yourself and God better, for having genuinely transformative encounters. They're built to foster growth in ways lectures alone just can't.
So here's a thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
What if you fully embrace these spaces? What if you allowed yourself to be truly seen, heard, maybe even challenged a bit? What new understanding, what personal breakthroughs might unlock for you?
Yeah, really consider that. We just encourage you, step into these opportunities. Bring your openness, your curiosity, your willingness to engage. Remember, you are the active participant in your own journey of discovery.